Oh, yay. The gremlins are at work. Crazy craziness. Um, I'm trying to get a hold of Lisa right now. Let me just give you an update what's going on. So, uh, ENG is in the back office. We're talking, no issues, and all of a sudden, boom, my computer completely freezes up. And when I mean freezes up, I couldn't touch a mouse, I couldn't touch anything. It was wacky. Finally got rebooted up in there, and now ENG cannot get on. He's saying the link's not working. So I'm trying to get a hold of Lisa right now uh, to see what we can do. So stand by, folks. I really apologize. I know how unprofessional this is, but I'm a one-man band right now. And we're trying to figure this out on what's going on. All right, that was ENG. He thinks it's coming on now. Who knows what's going on? Very wackadoodly. But hey, sounds like you can hear me now, so that's really, really cool. So in the meantime, let's real quick introduce you to, if you have not seen it yet, screwbiggov.com. It's very important. I would go there, click on the newsletter, find all our social media links. Give you a great example. Just this week, we were booted off of TikTok, like banned. One video they didn't like. Instead of warning us, they just took our account completely down. And that was talking about Israel and Palestine. So clearly, we weren't putting out the narrative that they would prefer. So go to screwbiggov.com. You can access over 20 films that we've done there. Everything you can imagine is at screwbiggov.com. You can link to it. And also for an amazing Telegram, go to Robert's Telegram. That's follow Robert Imbrielli, of course, on Telegram at Renegade Media, at Renegade Media. Why this is so important is because what he does is he takes small clips of what we're doing on our programs on the news and puts them there so you'll be able to forward them, because a lot of times people hear something in the discussion and they're like, oh, if I only had that. Robert does that as well. All right. And now ENG saying he cannot get on. I do not know what's going on. We did make a change in the system, but he was on earlier. All right. So I'm going to try something. Stand by. And make sure you like, follow, and subscribe while you're there. I'm going to try something.
Lewis?
Hey, let's see if I could put you on speaker. Let's see if my audience can hear you. If they give us a thumbs up, we'll just roll it that way.
Yeah, we can do it. In an extreme case, I think we could do that.
All right, so let's give it a roll. So, folks, if you can hear ENG, please give me a 5-5 inside the chat group, and we will roll this way.
Okay, how's that, Lewis? Can they hear me?
All
Just
right.
wait for a response.
Yep, we're testing. Yep, they're giving good. So 5-5. So I'll hold this phone in a certain position against my belly. I will not move, and we'll roll with this. This is excellent. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. In fact, I'll even put your image, digital image, on screen. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. We figured. Hey, guys, we figured it out. You know, we're in a war. If you're inside of a foxhole, you have to figure some way around it, and we did, because there's always a solution. So, ENG, it's so awesome to have you on today.
Well, thank you, Lewis. If anybody makes me feel special out there, it's you, because the world sure tends to kick a guy down day to day, doesn't it?
It really does, and I appreciate that. But yeah, it does, and I'm very excited about today's interview with you, because folks, for you that don't know, ENG is a structural engineer. He's done some great exposures on 9/11. He was our go-to when the bridge in Maryland was taken down by the ship. But we've talked offline a lot, and we text back and forth. And I found a side of him that it sounds like he's discovering. I'll let you go into that yourself. that I think is phenomenal. So if you think about an engineer, normally you would think, if you're going to quantify it, that would be your 3D reality, right? So if you think about what people use the moniker 5D, that's more the esoteric spiritual stuff. And wow. So where do you think we're at today? Because I'm learning a lot going back and forth in our conversations. Hello?
Hello. Okay, so the mic isn't working, but I can see you on my screen.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Alrighty.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me on the phone?
Yeah, I can hear you on the phone. It's
Okay,
coming
cool.
through on my headphones, oddly enough.
Well, it's okay. So we're clear. We know that the gremlins are out today. So let them have their fun, and we're not gonna shut this process down for nothing. I already lost a TikTok account this week. We're not gonna lose anything else. So I was telling the audience how you've enlightened me on really the spiritual esoteric side of you, which I think is really, really cool. Where do you think we're at today with everything? Not from an engineering standpoint, but just from what you've learned and your gut feeling.
I'd love to give you a succinct answer on it, but it's a very long explanation. It's necessitated because the situation in the world is so complex. Here, I'm going to try to put the phone beside my ear. Yeah, that's... Can you hear me?
Much? Like yeah, that's really good. That's really
okay.
Good.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to keep the phone to my ear, so figuring out all our gremlins here, how they're dealing us this sideways little... But it's a very all-encompassing situation, Louis. Like, for example, it's challenging to keep a situational awareness sometimes, because new things are happening to a person every day. For example, I was at a very interesting lunch today before I came over here, and I was having lunch with two friends. One of them was involved in the energy cleaning of the Vatican and 2,000 Catholic church sites in Europe. This is something that really benefited the White Hats, what he did, and he was... I'm going to be doing an interview with him, actually. He's a good personal friend of mine. He came into my life in 2021. And we were just talking about this very question that you asked me. What is going on in the world? We think that some people who have been going around out there saying that this is basically in the bag, don't worry. I don't want to borrow that person's particular expressions, but we might not be quite out of the woods yet as we think we are. And I've been wrong about this before. I was feeling like the dangers are behind us. If there was nothing in the way, disclosure would be happening right now, and we would all be liberated. We would already have the speakers would be blaring. There would be 10 days of darkness. There would be very public arrests being done of all these people around us, but nothing like that has really come to pass, at least publicly. We're being told by some people 100% it is, you know, almost short of saying, shut up, it's
right.
all under control. And on other channels, I also have been hearing that the group that is, if you will, that is overseeing this are having some real dissent in the ranks. That some parties are still dealing with nefarious forces on the earth. Nefarious forces being, you know, things like secret societies, individuals who are corrupted of extreme power, and things like that are going on. But I will tell you one thing, Louis, and again, it goes back to the conversations we've had in the past about my vision for humanity. The two individuals that I had for lunch today, that I had lunch with, I didn't actually eat them. but my very good friends, we agreed at the end of the lunch that we have to get more of us together, and we have to hang around people of our abilities. We have to do this sort of thing. We have to associate more and not be shy. We have to kind of come out of our shell, and not just because it's good to socialize, but it's good to band together for power purposes. What I was saying to you before about my vision for humanity, it's still so very bright and strong. I think we're headed for such a good place, that we really should have that occupying our thoughts predominantly, and we should be looking at, why is this taking so long? We shouldn't be saying stuff like that, moping and feeling sorry for ourselves. We should rather be picking ourselves up and joining the party as people who have got some dignity, who have got self-respect, and who have integrity, and who definitely can stand on our own 2 feet, like the big kids that we are. And we can definitely join in the festivities with everybody else. I think that's the attitude we have to comport ourselves with, and we can't afford to be, how shall I say, whimpering and whining and moaning. That's not the side others are expecting to see of us. We're a divine species. We live forever. We are spirits, and there's really special stuff in us, our emotions, our creativity. We are a unique species as far as the cosmos goes, and we should be really proud of that. And that's my prevailing feeling. I don't want to come on here and say this is in the bag, don't worry. We should act as if the World Military Alliance is optional. Do you know what I mean? We should have that attitude.
Yeah, in fact, I've state that often. It doesn't really matter what so-called white hats, gray hats, or anybody does. Ultimately, we, the people, have to take accountability for the results. Um, and one of the things that you said many that I love, but I definitely believe that we can control our frequency. And if we can control our frequency, we're not feeding the bad guys. So it's there. Is it hard out there for many? Absolutely. Is it tough because you can barely pay the bills sometimes? Is it tough because your family has disowned you? All of that can be true, and you can still keep your frequency high at the same exact time. Um, I
Absolutely.
and
I agree with what you're saying, 100%.
and I know personally, just because of personal tragedies in my life, I could have went one direction, and I chose to find the positive in all of it. And I 100% agree with you. I really would want people to understand that message is we can control our emotions, and if we know that the battlefield is for our minds and our souls, why would you give any second of negativity to the bad guys, which that's what they crave?
Well, absolutely. And we also have to look at it this way. We're grown-ups. We're getting on in years, unfortunately. I look in the mirror every time and I see more and more gray, and now lately white. So we're taking the gray. And I think to myself, how many times have I struggled in my life, and how many times have I surmounted? And they've been sort of peanuts compared to this. Yes, they have.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that half the battle, or maybe even all of the battle, to passing a test is to understanding when you're in one. And I believe that we're in a massive test of faith like we've never had before on this planet. It's never befallen our species in this order of magnitude, and we can pull through. We can do this. We can, while we're waiting, obviously there's so much to do. I like fly fishing. There's so many things we can do.
Mm-hmm.
We can enjoy those people around us, and we certainly seem to be, we can't deny this either. We're seeing less and less of a feeling of real direct threats to us. These bad players who have been strutting their stuff up on the stage, they don't really feel so bad anymore. In other words, that their teeth are gone. They used to have teeth, but now they kind of have, they're like that great big monster in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when he yanked out all the teeth, flapping their gums
That's
around.
right.
That's what it seems to me. It seems to me like a bunch of hot air now. So I'm not really worried about my personal safety or that of my family. I don't feel that much anymore. So now maybe that's a chance to say, pay attention to that family and be with them a little bit more, be a little bit more present and enjoy, savor those moments and allow your love vibration, like you're saying, you can raise your vibration. Michael Jaco keeps saying, raise the love vibration. I love the way he says that.
Mm-hmm.
Just build that and let it be. Look, last Friday, did you see those lights?
So many people were sending me pictures of them. It was just blew me away. Just gorgeous.
I posted a video. The latest video was rather a slideshow of those photos. A few of the photos that we took, my daughter and I, that night with the lights shining in the sky. To me, it felt like a confirmation of the glorious nature that we're about to be seeing, disgorging her identity, and indeed our own identity, is making itself gradually more and more known. These are energies coming from the sun. But we were texting, weren't we, Lewis, on right after that event. We thought people are saying that this could be HARP.
Yeah, somebody said it could be HARP, and you took a real positive take, and you said you dove deep inside, and you don't think it's that at all, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I don't get that feeling at all. The people that I talk to, and we do talk to each other over here. We associate quite closely. I guess you could call us light workers, but we do keep in close communication, and we bounce things off one another, and we come into a discussion with a kind of an intuitive feeling. And again, Michael Jaco is a big intuitive person. He's the intuitive warrior, after all. Intuition informs us to varying degrees in the group, and none of us is getting a feeling that this is nefarious. It's very positive, and the functionality of it is that we receive our energy from the sun. The sun and the moon are not as we have been taught that they are. It's actually quite a far cry from it. I see you've got some beautiful photos of Aurora Borealis on the screen. We had just some spectacular displays, and when we were standing underneath it, it was like this huge funnel of light that was shining down, bringing God's light down onto the planet at night. It was just incredible. It was almost giving off an ambient light. At night, when we go by the water's edge there and we look out across the fields there, they're usually pitch black, dark, but we could actually see foliage was being lit up by these incredible lights in the sky. So something really good is going on there, and I think that should be a very encouraging, positive sign to people, a bit of a confirmation of our faith that yes, you are headed in the right direction.
So let's step back for a second. You mentioned the moon and the sun are probably not what we believe it to be. What's your thought on that?
Well, I have a number of thoughts on that. I would rather articulate those things very carefully. I have to roll that out a little bit more slowly. I hate to be a bit of a wet blanket there in my answer, but I am going to be doing some disclosures on my channel. When I sit back and think about how I should do that, it's every single time it's complicated because the history is complicated and convoluted. And let's just say that our history here on this planet for people is not by a damn sight have we been here on our own, and there has been no interaction with people who are not resident on this planet. There has been very much of that interaction going on throughout our history, and at times it's been tumultuous. I will say that our oceans are some 100 meters deeper as a result of the latest calamity, which happened between 12,000 and 13,000 years ago. And a gentleman by the name of Randall Carlson has been going around the popular lecture circuit. He was on Joe Rogan. He was more recently on Sean Ryan. And he talked about the rise of the oceans. He's very interested in the end of the Younger Dryas period, where the ice age suddenly gave way to more temperate climate zones, and the temperature of the planet suddenly climbed, and a lot of that ice melted. And that has to do with a great calamity that we underwent. And I have verified this around the sources that are talking today. I went back to ancient sources who were talking, for thousands of years, passing the information down verbally from one to the other. And they also talk about the Great Calamity, where they were very concerned about objects falling from the sky. They were concerned about heading for higher ground. And it was something that convulsed the earth, and I believe it convulsed we'll see in the future, we'll learn this, but I believe it convulsed our species down to its core. Physiologically, you could say it bifurcated our brains. It was so traumatic for us. I'm saying about our star family that are out there, that there are parties out there who are feeling a great deal of guilt because of what happened. They feel that they were, how shall I say, responsible for what happened, and they've stuck around and they've interacted with us for thousands of years here to try to right this great wrong. It seems that everything is going the right way, but I think it might be a little bit premature to say that it's in the bag, because there are nefarious players that are still out there, it seems. I have a hard time understanding exactly who they are, but if we sit and think and feel among my group, we are still feeling like the coast isn't really completely clear. It's almost clear, but it isn't.
Right.
We have also the need to wake ourselves up and not feel sorry for ourselves, to grow up and realize what's happening. Also, to that end, I believe that there will be more confirmations, much like we had last Friday. I think there will be more events coming up that will shake us awake gently.
So in situations like this, what I like to do is, because we have some knowledge, we have some downloads, and then we have some speculation. That's just the nature of the beast, because this is all new to us. So I like to go sometimes back to what we know. So I'm going to just throw a couple at you. What we know, the moon landing was faked. It's undisputable that if anybody thinks that we landed on the moon, it's ludicrous. So we know that. I know something, and I don't know if you've seen this or not. I know that when I was a kid, because I used to draw a lot, I was a latchkey kid. I had nothing better to do, so I would draw sunsets and sunrises all the time. Don't know why. Always, I drew them in yellow. I haven't seen a yellow sun since I was a child. That is interesting to me, because I believe there's a white sun out there. So how exactly does that happen? Those are the questions that we should have. So to me, there's something not right, or maybe it is right, it's just not the same. And I think that's pretty obvious. What's your thoughts on that?
First of all, taking them in that order, my thoughts on the moon landing mirror yours. I believe that we didn't go there. From what I have learned about how we're set up right now, nothing can really leave the atmosphere without the people inside the craft being as they travel through the Van Allen bands, which have been imposed on our planet. And I'll get into the reasons why that is. I really feel quite acutely the need to wheel these things out gradually, because just for the sake of the people in the audience, we may think that everybody is, yes, following along. Yes, that's fine. I've heard that before, but not everybody is. And I just wanted to do that out of consideration for everybody in the audience. The color of the sun, from what I have learned, it has been due to the fact that our atmosphere has been cleaned up in recent times, and the atmosphere is no longer acting like a filter, a very faint, fine filter to sunlight, because the particles that were deposited into the atmosphere to darken the atmosphere, and this was certainly an ongoing effort of the deep state, the cabal were doing that. That has been precipitated out by the good forces, and now the true color of the sun is able to actually penetrate the atmosphere, and we can see it for what it really is. It's no longer being filtered out. A good example of that effect is when we have forest fires. Try looking at the sun during a smoky day, and it ranges in colors from yellow right through to just a bright white red. I'm sure you've seen that because
Yes.
you're down in California, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So there's that effect that the atmosphere has of filtering and changing the color of the sunlight. So that's to the best of my knowledge what I. Mm-hmm. There isn't really a sun. Behind the sun. If anything, suns are used as portals.
Oh, interesting.
There are portals between different solar systems. So there is that effect.
So there's been a lot of talk lately of people stating publicly that they're doing the same thing they always do that would have gotten them a sunburn before, and now they can't even get a sunburn. Not that they would want it, but that it's not happening. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have no information on that end. I can't really comment on that. I don't really know what's happening there. I do remember, at times the sun used to burn, but I can be out in the hot sun now and not really feel the effect. But I haven't really paid that much attention to that aspect of it.
Interesting. I absolutely, I believe there are good guys doing work in the background. I also believe that the plan, according to the boards, was actually we, the people, stepping up and taking care of business. People often ask me, Louis, what can I do? What can I do? And generally I say, hey, go to your school board, do something locally, because the micro fixes the macro. But it hit me while you were talking. One of the most important things I believe people can do, because it is about frequency, is if you're stuck at home but you still have internet, maybe spend your day, if you're just looking to make a difference, is sending out positive videos all day long and messages. It could be memes, it could be videos, it could be comedy, it may be somebody helping somebody else, because that alone, when I do that, and I do it often, I cannot believe the responses. You made my day. I was feeling really down. My vibration is up. This is amazing. So I would recommend that to people that are in trying to figure out what they do. Because, ENG, I think, including myself sometimes, I think people can feel helpless and feel like they're not making a difference.
Yeah, I know when you're in a bit of a vacuum, when you feel like there's nobody around you listening and you feel cut off, there's no feedback. There's a tendency to feel lonely. But in that case, what I would advise people to do is go to your happy place. Everybody's got a hobby, something that they really like to do for themselves. It has to be selfish. That's what a hobby is. Mm-hmm. You have to just put your head down and just enjoy doing something. For me, it's painting. I've always liked to do crafty things like that, but a few years ago I picked up a paintbrush and I started to paint landscapes. And I thought, holy mackerel, this is wonderful. I can't believe I've never tried this before. Well, you know what I did? After those lights, I took a bunch of acrylic paint and I started to dump black paint onto canvas, and I started to brush in these aurora borealis using iridescent paints. And man alive, is it so much fun. And you can stencil in the outline of the tree silhouettes in front of it. Whatever floats your boat, man. Like, there's so many different things we can do. But the point is that in that moment, when you're doing that, your intent to make that painting is so clear. And some people don't like to use the word manifest, but you manifest the painting. Everything else burns away on that crucible. Just your intent stays, and your intent is to paint a beautiful image. When you're in that process and your intent converts into an end result that you visualize, everything else melts away. It's like being in a crucible. And in those moments, when you're burning off everything superfluous that doesn't matter, but you're painting, you are so close to God in those moments. And everybody around is feeling your happiness, your positivity. You're having such a good effect on the people around you. And you don't necessarily know that because we've been taught, if there's no audible feedback, like look at the frustration we just had about our audio video set. If there's no feedback, then we start to panic. Enjoy the quiet, enjoy the calm. You are absolutely connecting right now. You're connecting to God. You're connecting to everybody you love. And what you're doing really, really matters. And it grants peace to the world. And how we grant peace is one little corner at a time. We go through and we do that for ourselves. And we contribute a little bit to the overall picture. And that really raises vibrations high. Absolutely it does.
And yet you're so right, and every little piece matters, and there's no one person in here that's more important than another. And I think everybody needs to know that we've been given gifts by God. In fact, I truly believe one of the biggest issues has been the cabal cannot manifest. That's not in their DNA. And I'm saying that literally. It's not in their DNA to manifest. But they're brilliant and they understand how to manifest. So what they've done is they've programmed us to manifest on their behalves. Now, when we, the people, understand the power of the manifestation, it's amazing. I'm not taking credit for what I'm about ready to say, but I'm going to tell you an event that was pretty phenomenal. So during Truth Tour 2, we decided that one of the stops were going to be the guide stones and that we were going to do a Jericho walk around the guide stones. People were very excited about this. What happened is 2 weeks before we were scheduled to go, publicly, people in chat and on my channel started saying, what can we do in the meantime? So we said, let's manifest them falling. And we had probably, I would say, well over 1,000 people on the same page, manifesting falling. And guess what they did a few days later? They were done.
Yeah, you did it, Lewis. You
Because
guys.
and I'm not taking credit for that, folks. What I'm saying though is manifestation is so incredibly powerful, and many times you hear me say, use prayer, manifest through prayer. And I'm so glad you brought up manifestation. You're talking to the the right audience here, because they really, many of them have been working with us for a long time and they understand the power of manifestation. So let's manifest the outcome, just like ENG is talking about. It'll come to us that much quicker.
Well, you just touched upon a really important means that we could use, groups of people could use. We could collectively influence the outcome. When we were in the middle of it, Simon Parks was quite privy to situational awareness. He's aware of things that we don't. We're a part of the group. At one moment, I think this was in 2022, he asked the group, Connected Consciousness, the entire group of people. Are you still there, by the way?
No, I'm not here. I'm gone.
He asked the entire group to collectively picture the cabal as a dark cloud that has hovered into place over our head, and we're sitting there with our arms folded and totally we don't care about them. And then we picture that dark cloud dissolving like a lump of sugar above our head, and the cabal thereby disappear. The way that he asked us, he instructed us to do that, was very powerful, and we did that, and I think we had some 2,000 people or something tune into that. And the power of these collective exercises that you're talking about could well tip the scale. It could make the difference. So why don't we, like my two friends who I had lunch with, why don't we put something like that together? Why don't we put together a mass consciousness event? And it'll have to mean reaching across platforms. It'll have to mean, hey, we're all doing truth podcasts on our own Rumble channel. why don't all the Rumble channels get together and talk directly to their audience and say, hey, everybody is teaming up to do a massive live event. Let's do this one and let's free the planet right now. Let's get it done. Let's do it.
It's interesting
Could be that simple.
you'd say that, because I'm working on the Unity project, as many people know. And that's the one portion I've not mentioned. So it's amazing how collectively we're on the exact same page with this. We've been teasing the audience with it lately, is since about 2 months ago. We're in Telegram. We're doing a morning prayer at 8 a.m. Pacific time every single day, and it's a prayer that also includes manifestation within it. So, ENG, you and I will talk offline, and we'll continue to coordinate that, and we'll put it with inside the Unity project. And yes, we're on the same page. That will be extraordinarily powerful. And I think this will be an opportunity for people, unless they are controlled opposition, to put their egos aside and say, you know what, I can support something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more the merrier. If we can just get like-minded people together, we're all pretty much on the same page. The pieces will fall into place. People will know what to do. Yep. Absolutely. I'm all on board with that.
I know you will be too. Awesome. So real quick, I need to give a nod to my sponsor. Hello, this is Midas Gold Group. We love Matt. That's Matt Geiger right there. His phone number's on the screen, guys. If you're considering silver and gold, no better place. You deal with directly with the people that have it. They'll send it right to your home. If you want to flip your IRAs over, they'll take care of that. I don't know a better price. I don't know better customer service. And on top of that, we've made an agreement with them, because, as you know, Robert and I are dedicated to giving back to we the people. If you cannot afford even a silver coin, and you're legitimately cannot afford it, go ahead and contact Matt at Midas Gold Group, and he has an agreement with us that he will get you out a silver coin if you're being honorable about it. And if people don't take advantage of that, we're going to keep them going, because we want your vibration to be as high as possible. And how cool is it if you're having trouble paying your bills and you can get a silver coin worth, $30-35 in the mail? That's pretty awesome. So do business with Matt. Good guy, honest guy. I was on the phone with him for a while yesterday. I think you'll appreciate it. And that's Midas Gold Group, and that's Matt Geiger. So, ENG, let's close it out. Other than a manifestation, and well, I guess just getting us manifesting and keeping our vibration high is pretty much what we can do. Where do you think? Do you feel it's going to get a little bit darker before the dawn, or do you have any insight to that?
My insight to it goes back to Truthathon, what I was saying, in that I do believe that there are going to be these necessary wake-up events, because there is that majority of people who are really stuck in their thinking, and they are requiring negative motivation to move ahead, to do anything at all with them. So these wake-up events are chiefly for them. They are not for us. We have figured it out. We know what's going on. But some people just need to be, unfortunately, jolted awake. And I have friends like that. I love them still, and I will always go on loving them. I can't picture life without them. But unfortunately, they are just so headstrong and so stuck in their ways. They're set in their ways. They're not about to be persuaded by me. And I have given up. Given up isn't a nice thing to say. I've redirected my energy to someplace where it will be more useful. And I've just said, well, that's not a battle for me. That one is in God's hands. And these people who are going to be making these wake-up events really know how to do that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for too. And my wife and I have done the same thing. We've lost some children over this that disowned us. One's even changed her name and making a big deal out of it, all because we were at January 6th. It's pretty petty, I think, but the reality is that's the brainwashing that came straight out of college. But we put it in God's.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Louis. Really sorry to hear that. It's painful, I know. But hold a hope, because things can turn around. And I think one day when we are shown what's really been going on, the wool that's been pulled over all our eyes, even them, okay, everybody, there might be some changes of heart. Keep up hope for them, man.
We believe that 100%. Yeah, we haven't given up. We just put it in God's hands for now, and pray and wish them the best. That's what we're doing right now. And then, I think everybody's going to come around. There may be a small percentage that won't, but that's probably part of the mental illness called MK Ultra that was done to him. And I'm hoping it could be broken on everybody, but the reality, maybe 95% will get it, and there will be some people that fall by the wayside. Well, ENG, we've reached our time. I really appreciate you coming on as normal. I know you and I are working on a project in the future that would be really cool for everybody. And any last words for everybody?
I opened up my Rumble channel back in March. It's called Leave the Matrix Behind, and I've got some really interesting disclosures I'm working on. A personal friend who was involved with the liberation of the Roman Catholic churches in Europe, 2,000 sites, including the Vatican, the dark energy there. We're going to be talking about his adventures. He was very, very much a front runner in the White Hat operations. Good personal friend of mine. I see him very often. And I'm going to be doing disclosures along these lines and along the lines of President Eisenhower, JFK, and various things like that. I've got a lot of information to disgorge, as well as the galactic aspect of this that I just touched upon in my end of my first disclosure video, where I came to the conclusion that there's no other way that our White Hats could have been organized other than by the Intergalactic Federation stepping in and asserting its dominance and getting everybody to point in the same direction. So that's really exciting, and I think people will really enjoy hearing that. And I'm also looking forward to confirmations coinciding that we are on the right track with our information and showing everybody that this is veracity.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And folks, I put on screen, this is brand new. So everybody go over to Rumble right now and go ahead and follow ENG-Anon. And it's Leave the Matrix Behind. And you can actually find it on search. It's not being shadow banned yet. So just type in Leave the Matrix and it'll pop right up. And it's a brand new channel. He's amazing. A lot of love for ENG. Go over there and make sure we pump up his followers. Let's get him over 1,000 today. So ENG, super appreciate you as normal, and I know you're working hard in the background, and I'm really excited about something that you and I are going to work on in the near future as well.
Absolutely, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. All right, folks. Appreciate you. Love you. Listen to the beautiful music at the end. Manifest. That's the word of the day.